What is happening, Dolphins fans? Welcome to another episode of the Fins Tailgate with your host, El Capitan. A little bit of a revelation coming out of Indy about Tua Tagovailoa, and we're going to get into that today. And I want to see what people think about this revelation that I'm going to talk to you guys about. And I don't know. We'll get into all that. Also, some definitive news coming up about Christian Wilkins, released by the Dolphins. We'll get into all that here directly as well. Guys, on your way in, hit the like button, please. Subscribe if you are new. And let's get right into it.
Turner Yell makes the stop in the secondary for Denver. 1st and 10. The fake. Good block in there, and down it goes. Caught at the 30. This is the dynamic hill. He's in for 6. Tyreek Hill. Touchdown. What a block.
Take into your hands a plan. Your own hands can land your own brand. And damn, I feel like no one takes accountability. They want the credibility, convincingly unwilling to put in the hours it takes to get some power. Don't be f***ing sour. Take a cold shower. Scream until you're louder. Work until you're prouder. And f*** all the doubters. They're just your downers. I swear to God they all let me down. I always fought just to wear the crown. I'm f***ed off at these f***ing clowns who were all taught they deserve an ounce. It's only worth it if you work for it.
Yes, welcome to another episode of the Fins Tailgate. I, your host, El Capitan. Before we get rolling and stuff, you might be looking at this shirt going, what the heck is going on here? HB, the producer, made these shirts. They're available on the website, tftgnetwork.com. So it's looks like it says nothing. Got these dots here on the side, and you bring them up, and it says Fins Up. Let me show you again. Fins Up. See what I'm saying? Pretty dope, right? So, yeah, just some new stuff on the website. Got the shirt, fits nice. It's all comfies. So if you're wondering what that says, it says Fins Up. Well, you got to grab it on the little thingies here, but yeah, Fins Up. So, yeah, guys, let's crack this. Let's crack right in this, dog. Shout out to everybody in chat, the members in the house. Joe Wrist, I see you, homie. What up? Michael K, what's going on? Dad Dean, what's happening? Mansa, it's good. Fins Up 74, got the fins up for you. 74, blue bloom. You know what I'm saying? Scarlet Witch of Sports, see you watching over there on the X side. Triple S, what's good, homie? Salute. So yeah, guys, let's get into this, right? So it's gonna be a shorter video, but I really just wanted to get what do people like? This is such a weird thing that came out. So Damian Parson, NFL scout from the Draft Network. Hold up. What's it say? Those shirts are Dan Mitchell? What's that mean? Michael K, have you started drinking early? Well, actually, it's a little later. You started drinking right on time. What's up, Dolphinaire? Andres? What's good, dog? So, yeah, guys, hit the like button. Hello, Nene. I didn't even see you slide up in here. What's good, Nene? Member in the house, in the crib. Salute. Again, Michael K, Joe Wrist up in here. Hit the like button on your way in, everybody. So let's kind of crack this. I know, Manson. Don't even worry about it, bro. Some interesting revelation came out. Damian Parsons, NFL scout from the Draft Network, about Tua Tagovailoa, as always this time of year during, combine, everybody's at Indy, yada, yada, yada. All kinds of stuff comes out, right? People talk, they're doing this, they're doing that. And Damian Parsons makes it public that Tua Tagovailoa has hired an NFL, off-season NFL passing coach to help. The revelation isn't that. I think as fans, right, we just assume that a lot of these guys in the offseason are formulating and working on his craft. What's up, MJW? What's good, dog? And I just blanketly assumed that if you're an NFL quarterback, you have a personal QB coach in the offseason getting you better. This apparently is heading into year 5 of his NFL career. This is the first year Tua has a passing coach for the offseason. It's really, you know, it's weird. What's up, I could worship Tua? What's going on, dog? Fins up. Fins up. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it again. Fins up. It's weird. Like, now listen, I do understand his first year coming in, not having a coach as a quarterback coach for the offseason for the first year with the hip injury and stuff like that. And we all know that he has a personal trainer. Shout out to Nick Hicks, nice guy, who's been working with Tua, and every offseason he works with him. And that's a lot of, and listen, they run tons of drills. It's not like they're not working on footwork. It's not like they're not working on stuff in the offseason, especially, weightlifting, all that good stuff. But the weird thing is that, like, we're talking about multi-million-dollar athletes. And yes, okay, I'm not saying, like, guys should just waste their money willy-nilly, right? But we kind of anticipate these dudes to absolutely love the game. I love the game. God, I wish I was big enough when I was a young man to take this. I'm just too short, dog. So, but okay, envy, whatever. I don't like to be envious. But I just think that, like, we just kind of assume that the new modern athlete is a guy that I'm an NFL quarterback 365 days a year. Yes, there's family. Yes, there's off time, golfing, whatever. But I just assume that these guys have a team put together, and having a NFL offseason quarterback coach for an NFL quarterback seems like a gimme. Just kind of seems like a gimme. So it was really kind of shocking to me to find out that this is his first one ever. Now, again, I understand there was the hip. I understand there was also the concussions and stuff. But the offseason's a long time. It's a longer time than the season. So, and I get that, yeah, you can do weight training, you can do studying, you can do whatever, but, like, first of all, you can afford it. And second of all, isn't that part of being the consummate professionals that we expect? Am I over the top here, chat? Let me know in chat. Am I being a little over the top on this? Am I not being dumb? Well, he's got a wife now, Raph. So I don't think it's his first time on that, buddy. He's got a kid and everything. At least he got it once, right? You know what I'm saying? Let me know, chat. Am I being a little bit duh about this? Because it shocked me. I was like, what? It's breaking news. It's a hot button item story on social media. Now I get it. You're probably not going to see much of it. Well, you'll see a lot of it here in the next couple of days, because that's how this works. We're always here on the ground level first on YouTube with the news. You get tomorrow's news today on YouTube. You get it instantly. You get to read about it through either Facebook or X or anything like that. You get to hear about it and opinions about it on YouTube. And then another day or so, you'll see it on NBC or CBS or any of these other sites where the talking heads finally got the meat and the potatoes. And they'll have more information because, let's face it, they got more money and they got more ends, even though I got plenty of ends. But the odd thing, right, is that I just... Am I dumb for just assuming that an NFL quarterback would have a QB coach for the offseason? Is that just a dumb assumption? Dade, this is what I'm saying. How can I... Dade, this is what I'm saying. It's weird. And you know what? Here's the thing, right? Is this just a 1-year deal? Like, is this just a one-time thing? Because here it is. Heavy contract negotiations. Heavy. I'm sure the team at the negotiation room has some little sussings, right? At least his agent is coming back to him saying, well, they're kind of thinking this for this reasons or whatever. Is this hire of a QB coach just a thing because it's a contract year? That's it. I said it. Is it just fodder to show that, hey, no, I am taking this extra, extra serious? Or is it something, I don't know, man, like, we get it, buddy. Cosa Nostra, we get it. You love Tua. We get it. I'm just pointing out the absolute weirdness that here's a guy heading into his 5th year, and it's his 4th offseason, and now he's getting a QB coach, and I find it very conspiratorially weird that getting a QB coach for the offseason now, that contract and $100 million plus, $150 plus $1 million is on the line. I don't think I'm wrong. Matter of fact, I know I'm not wrong because I know that it's an odd thing. It's weird. And I'm not saying that maybe look, I think we all can understand and know that since Tua has gotten into the league, every offseason there was a specific area that he needs to work on. In his first year, he needed to get healthy on the hip, get his mobility back, become the guy, and then in that offseason build upon that and then put some more of this weight on. The second year, it was, I don't really even know, I guess just more of the same. When the third year happened with the concussions, he took the jiu-jitsu, he put on some more weight so he can withstand the hits. He did these types of things. The fourth year is QB coach. I just assumed that the QB coach was along for the ride the first 3 years, but no. Jiu-jitsu took up too much time. I mean, dude, listen, I got a 9 to 5. Okay? I work 40 hours a week, sometimes more. I got 2 kids in jiu-jitsu that I take a couple times a week, 3 times, sometimes more. I also go to the gym 3 or 4 times a week. And I cook dinner a couple nights. I freaking, all the other stuff I got to do in my life. I don't get those 40 hours a week free in my life at any given moment of the year. Football players do. And granted, maybe they work more than 40 hours. I don't know. I'm not interested in the punch clock. But I guarantee you the average Joe's 40 hours a week added up to whatever the season long is of hours in a day for NFL players is not in comparison. And don't tell me, well, they travel for their job, because there's tons of people that travel for their job. And I get it. Well, there's people that work at home. Well, that ain't fucking me. So, again, blah, blah, blah. The thing is, I would just think that having a QB coach was a prerequisite at any given moment. That this was something that every NFL quarterback who got a bag, especially a first round, okay, if he wasn't a fifth round draft pick and money is kind of an issue, sure, a first round draft pick got some money. And I'm not saying I'm counting another man's money in his pocket. I hate that. I hate when people do it. I just assume you are a franchise quarterback, you make money, you have a guy who is a coach at the position in the offseason. That's what makes it weird to me. This is a new thing. Not that he doesn't have a trainer, and we know he has a trainer. Again, shout out Nick Hicks. He has a great trainer. And I know he's training him in drills and passing, and they're working with wide receivers and all that stuff. I know he's doing things. But to have an NFL QB coach qualified, like he had a what's his name? When he was in college coming into the NFL, what the hell's his name? The ex-Raven that won the Super Bowl, guys, the quarterback. God, I'm blanking. Let me know in chat. But then when he got to the NFL, all that stopped. We're not doing that anymore. We've reached the pro status. I don't need to learn. The thing about this, right? Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Knowing is half the battle. And if you're not learning and you're not growing, then you're getting dumber and you're dying. Words to live by at any age you are. If you're in your 60s and you're just not going to learn stuff now and you're not trying to grow and better yourself, you are deteriorating in a way you shouldn't. That's it, man. And so, Trent Dilfer, thank you, Jamie. Appreciate you, homie. Holding it down. It's a odd situation that Tua Tagovailoa now has his very first NFL coach at the quarterback position for the offseason. And I find it very convenient and suspicious that this is happening while contract negotiations are coming and yada, yada, yada. What up, Glenn? Salute, homie. If he wouldn't have taken jiu-jitsu lessons and was taking coaching lessons from a quarterback to passing the ball, so be it. Not that I don't think the jiu-jitsu lessons didn't help. I think the falling back and stuff like that and rolling, I think we've seen it in action a couple of times last season. And I'm happy. It's a good thing. But just a quarterback coach to go through film and recreate scenarios and do all that, and a guy that has hopefully a pedigree. We don't know who the coach is as of this moment, but I mean, if you're a Tagovailoa, if you're Tua Tagovailoa, it's obviously somebody that's reputable at the very minimum, right? Hey, Lancaster on Twitch, I see you. Salute. Who else was over there? Booby. I see you, Booby. Hello. I see the couple of people watching on Twitch. Salute to those enjoying the program on the Twitch network. And yes, Mr. Paul, Crazy Dolphin, hit the like button. Subscribe, support, join the membership, become a member. Look, and Kosa, I get it. Everybody's haters and doubters. They don't love Tua like I do. I love it. I believe. We get it, Costa. You are fucking the believer of believers. I'm a realist, bruh. And listen, Tua gets a QB coach. You know what? Here, Kosa, I'll tell you this, right? Look how good Tua's done from his year 3 to year 4 without an off-season QB coach helping him, right? Hey, look at that. Maybe he'll be killing it, right? They can work on timing. I seen this thing on I forget where, TikTok, some shit like that, right? Um, where they got this like headband you put on, and it's like a hand. Oh, well, my bad. It's like a hand over your face, for basketball players to use while they play basketball. It's like a training method. It's meant to emulate you having a hand in your face while you're trying to take your shot, right? It's so funny that I seen that when I did, because I was just thinking in a conversation we were having on a panel the other day about, like, it'd be a pretty smart idea in like the off season to like have like a visor where you can't see certain stuff, to kind of emulate what it's like to be in a pocket that's closing and you can't see, and you got to make the passes and the routes, right? I just was thinking that, and then lo and behold. So if they're doing some kind of progressive methods with this QB coach to emulate, hey, timing, understand that now, guess what? Your first option's gone, your second option's gone. Now it's time for you to buy time, because it's now getting into the 3-second or more of the play clock for you being in the pocket. You need to either roll out, step up, do this, do that, and look for the tight end, running back, or whatever. If you're scrambling out, try to bring yourself to the side and look for the wide receiver coming back. All that kind of stuff. There's things in which that is the stuff that I just went over that Tua needs to work on in the offseason to take his game to the next level, to warrant the money he's potentially going to get. Even if he only gets the 5th-year option, still needs to do these things to warrant that money that he's getting paid, and to get an extension beyond that. If he does get an extension beyond that and he doesn't take his game to that next level in the areas in which I just discussed, then we are losing that money. Because until he can do what I just said, as far as buying time and making plays when things are going bad, and I don't need him to do it all the time, but I need him to do it twice a game on average. If he can do that, he'll become an elite status quarterback. And I don't mean just elite with the numbers and number one in passing and stuff. No, I'm talking about elite in games against good opponents that have great defenses, that your numbers ain't hitting like they were in the overall average against the shitty teams, that you're actually going to step up and deliver the ball in the big moments. I'm not saying he never has. Calm down, chat. I'm saying that if he can harness the way to be that guy, that'll be great. That will be great. Because that's what he's going to need to do. Or else the Dolphins are putting themselves in cap situations like they are in right now, and going to continue to do that. And it's going to be a struggle. Now, yes, you can get lucky and smack some draft picks out of the park, but have we been so lucky, right? We've had some good draft picks, but I would say as far as super impact for where we pick somebody on the field and then their play on the field as a rookie, I mean, Devon Achane's probably the best out of a lot of the guys, and that includes Jalen Waddle and Bradley Chubb. I would say, yeah, Jalen Waddle delivered on his draft status, right? What we expected out of him. Achane, a third rounder, over-delivered on his draft status. It's not like, don't get me wrong, and I don't want to make people upset about Jalen Waddle. He definitely broke records as a rookie. He definitely was a top wide receiver and remains that. But it's not like he came out in his, and he's Justin Jefferson. Just saying. Not that that's his game, but I'm just saying guys come and take over in their rookie year and play top 3 of their position, or have their rookie deal and they're in discussion as rookie of the year or offensive rookie of the year, whatever, anything you want to say, right? Defensive rookie of the year, all that stuff. We haven't smacked anything out of the park like that. So us thinking we're going to get lucky in the draft, or we're going to get Joey Bosa, and he's going to, go off as a rookie, and that's going to help counterbalance the money we're losing from losing to divide amongst the team because we're paying a premier position quarterback top 10 money, top 8 money in the league. We haven't been so lucky. So not that it can't happen, just you can't. It's all a gamble, right? But you can't gamble that hard. You got to prepare for the worst. You got to hope for the best, prepare for the worst. And Dolphins signing to an extension will be a hope for the best type of situation. How they prepare for the worst, I don't know. Now, there is something that we're going to probably talk about tomorrow. Whatever. We'll talk about it now. Fine. When I say prepare for the worst, does that mean draft a quarterback? Does that mean let Tua ride his fifth-year option? Does that mean bring in some form of potential competition / other option if Tua doesn't work out in the fifth year? And there's a weird thing that just got released today. In case you guys didn't hear, Russell Wilson was made aware that the Broncos will be moving off him. What's up, Scrappy? Hit the like button, brother. V21, what's good, everybody? I see everyone in chat. Make sure everybody's hitting the like button, please. Is Russell Wilson a potential option as a backup quarterback to be brought in on a low deal? I don't see why not. And I get that there's so many people in this fan base that would come right for my neck because they don't want Tua to feel anything other than that he is coddled to. They don't want him to have any competition. They don't want to have perceptive competition. They don't want to have anything like that. And listen, I think Russell Wilson is cooked. I think he's done. I think his days are gone. But I also think he has some potential wisdom and there's similarities in Tua in his game that he could maybe help him with. And that if Tua is gone for a game or two stretch, at least Russell Wilson's the guy coming in to hold down the fort. I mean, who we haven't hold down the fort last year? Fucking, and no, nothing against Mike White or Skylar Thompson, but both of them put together aren't Russell Wilson. Never were, never could be, never was. And if Russell Wilson can be brought in here on a low deal, and I hear you, Kevin Lee, about Baker Mayfield, but Baker Mayfield is going to get real money. Russell Wilson is already going to make money and can take a small deal. And if the Dolphins end up riding Tua Tagovailoa's fifth-year option out, bringing in Russell Wilson is the move. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if in that fifth year, at the end of that fifth year or during that fifth year, you realize Tua isn't the guy, you have a guy in Russell Wilson who you can pay whatever to draft a young guy, and Russell Wilson can be that placeholder / whatever that, later age quarterbacks end up finding, journeyman type of things. They hold down the fort. They groom the young guy that gets brought in, and you move off of Tua and allow him to hit free agency or trade him or whatever case they can swing at that point. I don't like any of these ideas. I'm just saying that all of this speculation and avenues at least gives you other ways to potentially not get pigeonholed that you're paying a quarterback that you're not certain of, that or you can't find an agreeable deal fiscally with, and not be forced to do something that you don't want to. That's it. And I get it. a lot of people, oh no, boo-hoo, Tua should be paid. He's paid now. I love him. I want him to be worth $185 million. I want him to have everything he deserves. I get it. There's so many of you that it's just a weird vibe. We're just discussing options for the football team. The football team's options and what's best for it don't have to line up to any one player ever. Ever. In fact, it never should. It never should. Because if you're going to cater to one player versus to the rest, that is not a team. That is a dictatorship. And look no further than Tom Brady. Never made the top money. Always took less money to spread it around so he could win. You know why Tom did that? Not because he's a generous guy. Not because his wife made all the money in the world. Because he wanted to win and knew that if I don't take so much money, I get to keep guys on my football team. And I see you, Wolf X Wolf on Twitch. The thing about Kirk Cousins is he gonna make big money. Now, if the Dolphins want to pivot and get rid of Tua and trade him while he has a fifth-year option, let some other team deal with that problem and go and pivot to somebody else, draft somebody this year, whatever. I don't foresee that happening. Guys, that is not going to happen. There's not going to be any other quarterback either drafted, and I don't care if they draft one in the first round this year, or brought into the building, whether it's Russell Wilson or anybody else that's going to come in and start week one for the Dolphins, not named Tua Tagovailoa. He will start unless the only way that doesn't happen is if absolute contracts completely fall apart. They force Tua to ride out his fifth-year option, and Tua does a holdout because of that, which we've seen this type of stuff before from other players. It is what it is. They can do a hold in. He's there. He's taking up the roster spot. He's around. But then that that never works for anybody, including him. Tyler Huntley. Now, bring in a Tyler Huntley. He can do some stuff. He is available. Tyler Huntley, Jake Browning, these are guys that could be potential guys brought in. None are perceived as competition, but they could be perceived as potential stopgap guys if the fifth-year option was played on and they wanted to move on in the sixth year. You could take a Tyler Huntley. You could take a Jake Browning. If these were the backups, you could take a Russell Wilson. But to me, the Russell Wilson makes the most sense, right? Because Russell Wilson, veteran guy, has something to teach the young guys. The only thing I hate the most about Russell Wilson is the Russell Wilson factor. He brings all that nonsense, bro. You like that stopgap, guys, huh? He brings in all that Hollywood glamour, let's ride, just the nonsense along with it, and that can be a distraction for this football team and whatever. But hey, how great for Tua sexuals nationwide and international Tua sexuals. Man, that sounds like a dirty ass movie. Correct myself up. How crazy would it be if Russell Wilson was brought in? And what does it do? It lights a fire under Tua. It lights a fire under him. It lights a fire under him. And Russell Wilson don't even want to stay the next year on the backup. He's like, I got no shot taking the job from this guy ever. He is him. I would like that. I would love that. That's a great scenario. What I don't like is this overprotection to any player from what this game is about, what all sports are about. Competition and victory. And anytime you cater a player and don't bring in competition, you are bending the knee and basically saying, I'm going in this direction at no matter what. And to anybody who knows that, hey, I'm the guy. I could slack off. You know why? Because you've got no options. You've got no other option but to do and ride this way. So Russell Wilson could be a potential option. Say they bring the guy in for freaking $3 million. Say the same price we paid for freaking White is what we bring Wilson in for. I don't see how that's not an upgrade in the quarterback room. Bringing a guy that knows a lot about the game, has had ups, has had downs, and can sit back as the backup quarterback, being the guy helping with Tua in a year that is either first year of a mega deal contract or his fifth year in which he needs to get the mega deal. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't. It doesn't hurt. So, but yeah, just... And this whole conversation was sparked just because Tua now has a QB coach for the offseason, which is crazy. I still... As crazy as talk as bringing Russell Wilson in to back up Tua is, the crazier talk is if just 3 days ago, if I came out here the day before yesterday and did a video and I was like, did y'all know Tua never had a QB coach any year? He don't have one now still. Tua ain't never had a QB coach for the offseason. He you know what I would hear? You don't know nothing. He's got a QB coach. That's what I would hear. I would get the backlash of a lifetime because I would say something like that. But it would have been factual. And the reason people would have fought back to it is they'd be like, you're an idiot. Of course he's got a QB coach. That's what they do. He's training every offseason. QBing is one part of it. Tua is the guy. I know he's got a coach. He can be coached in the offseason. You're wrong, El Capitan. And you know what? I'd have been right. It's crazier statement to say Tua in his freaking heading into his fifth year in the NFL has got his very first offseason QB coach. That's a crazy thing to say. That's the weird thing to say. And you know what? I can't wait to watch, hear, and see all the imbeciles defend it. And all the excuses they're going to ride out with. Well, he couldn't because of this. He couldn't because of that. Couldn't. He needs to have downtime, and he needs to play golf, and he had a hip injury, and he had this and that. Like, you can give me every excuse in the book you want. If you ain't got a QB coach and you're a pro quarterback picked in the first round and are trying to be a franchise guy, then that's a problem. Now, here's another speculation, right? What if this QB coach is part of what the Dolphins are putting in the language in the contract? They're like, well, first of all, bro, in the offseason, you're not doing enough. You need to get a QB coach in the offseason to appease this contract. Don't act like that's something, what kind of language is that in a contract? They put language in freaking Kyler Murray's contract about playing video games or some shit like that. And I'm sorry, but there was a lot of people. I wasn't one of them, but there was plenty of people in the community making bold claims that Tua doesn't take it seriously in the offseason. He doesn't take it seriously. His craft, he doesn't work hard. You know who I heard say that? The last coach that was in the building. Oh, I said it. I didn't say his name. He shall not be named. I can't say his name, Mr. Brian Flores. Sorry, I said it. Say it 3 times, and the 2 ears come out and go crazy. Shout out to I Could Worship Tua. Cap, yo, I can't with this team and Tua's antics. Thank you. Salute to the homie. I'll give you a quick fins up, dog. Little fins up. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, I'm on it. Here's the deal, right? It would have been an absolute, just like the people who claimed Tua didn't work hard, who claimed Tua didn't do things in the offseason, that shows what a NFL franchise $200+ million man is worth and should be doing. Right? People fought against that type of narrative about Tua and what the game means to him and what it means to him in the offseason and how he wants to be better. And if I would have came out with some bold claims about him not having a QB coach in the offseason and it shows, y'all would have came at my neck. But the bold claim now, the insane news now, is that he's got his very first offseason quarterback coach. It's crazy. It's crazy to me. It's really weird. And I just would have assumed that wasn't the case. I see Ali in the back. Ali, did you have something you wanted to come up and say about this situation before I switch to Christian Wilkins? Because I would like to know how you feel about this, Ali.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Actually, you took the words right out of my mouth. This sounds like another Kyle Murray situation where the player or athlete is required to do something that's being placed in their contract as part of the agreement, to be 100% honest. Kind of like what we saw with Kyle Murray and, required to do study and homework, basically.
Yeah, and there was implications about him being always on video games and stuff like that. That's what came out.
Yeah, that's true. Here's one other thing. You mentioned a rumor or speculation or even a thought of bringing Russell Wilson here. I wouldn't be opposed to that if he doesn't mind being a backup, to be honest. I actually kind of like that, to be 100% honest.
Well, I mean, look at it from Russell Wilson's perspective, right? Now, just this in this scenario, I don't foresee Russell Wilson coming here if Tua signs an extension.
If it were to happen,
but if Tua signs an extension, Russell ain't coming here. But if they ride Tua's 5th year, you got to look at it. What's the positives for Russell? If Russell can come here and Tua fails, he could ipso facto at least get a shot to try to have this job the following season. Yeah. If Russell Wilson comes here and Tua gets, injured, and I'm sorry for all you people that are sensitive about Tua, that's your freaking problem. He's had injury concerns his entire football career from high school on. So say what you will, but maybe Russell Wilson's like, hey, he goes down concussion protocol for 2 weeks or something, or get some form of injury. They're calling my number, and if they call my number, I'm not going to let him take the job back.
The premise I'm looking at it is this. If you really, let's say, to be honest, it's kind of looking, this might be the last year that we have all this talent on this team, right? And
I would say we're going to have less talent than last year, but yes, I agree with what you're saying.
Tyreek Hill and stuff, the offensive side of the ball. Why not go all out, even throw in the kitchen sink? And that would be a kitchen sink move, to be honest. Because no matter what happens to your quarterback, either he plans out and he ends up being the best damn quarterback in the league and takes us all the way to the homeland, or he's not. You got the ace up your back pocket already. You don't have to spend any more money. You've already done it. You already pre-invested. You understand what I'm saying? It's already, you don't have to go looking and praying to God, essentially, is what I'm saying.
No, yeah. Again, to me, and I kind of put it like this, right? You're not forcing yourself in a corner. That's it. You're not forcing yourself in a corner. It'd be just like if the Dolphins extend Tua and they get us regular backups, and then the following year in the second round they draft a quarterback. You could say whatever about the move, but guess what? That quarterback and Tua's contract overlap until Tua's contract is up and this guy is still on the team. You know what I'm saying? And you can train him up behind him.
Yeah.
And I like that move because guess what? Tua works out and stays. You could trade this guy. You know what I'm saying? And get capital for it.
And here's the other flip side of it. If you think that Russell Wilson would not take that type of move, you're probably right. I'm not going to lie. He probably won't do that kind of move whatsoever. But I'll tell you why it makes sense for him. Personally, after what happened in Seattle and what happened in Denver, I think he needs a reboot. And when I mean reboot is like go somewhere where they're not expecting the world from you. It's not like they're singing Super Bowl, right? And I'm not saying that should be here, but I'm just saying like he could come here. They already got the guy that they think is the future ahead of him. He can relax a bit, focus in on himself, and only be called upon when he really is needed. You know what I'm saying? I think he needs a year of that, to be honest, before he can really get back to where he was before. That's just my opinion.
Again,
AB, if you're calling me a hater, you don't even know what hater means. So don't even try to speak English because I really think that's your second language, but that's okay. I mean, the reality is I'm not a hater. I'm just a objective.
Look, there go Mo creeping through here too. Maybe he's calling Mo a hater. I think that's
no.
What
He used my name. He put it in the chat. He wrote my name. AL. Oh, I'm sorry. He didn't know how to spell Mo's name. Oh, okay. That's possibility. That's possibility. Just kidding. I have nothing against Mo.
Oh no. He's definitely calling you a hater. All right.
Okay. I ain't a hater. You don't even know what a hater means, bro. Tell me the definition of a hater. Where's color? He got the dictionary somewhere.
I don't know. Here's the deal, right? All options are on the table, always. And if you're just gonna go all the way hard in the paint, then fine. But I'm sorry, Chris Greer is still the GM, and I've never seen a person as good at giving an out and having a way to slip out of the guillotine like this guy. And he knows as much as anyone else that if he signs Tua to that contract, if Tua fails, it's his head. He knows it. He knows that. And like Chris Greer, hate Chris Greer, I don't know. There's been times I love the guy. There's been times I hate the guy. And all of it's been warranted, right? Mm-hmm. But if he wants to do what I know him to do, and that's keep his head out of the freaking guillotine, it's not signed to and have him play his fifth year. That's what he'll do. Just saying. I'm not saying it's a 100%, but I don't know. I do not know. No live panel tonight, Mo. Coming soon though. That's pretty much how I feel about it. If the Dolphins go in there and that's it, like the next 3 to 4 years, it's either success with Tua Tagovailoa or we all are having buyer's remorse and it's done. We're hating life. And we got to blow everything up. And every name we know, from the front office to the freaking placeholder, is a potential change and turnover. What is this all bot? What are you saying? I don't understand.
I think he's saying ABAB is a bot.
Oh, ABAB is a bot?
Yeah, maybe. Oh. ABAB is asking me if my first language is English or Persian. It's actually English. I was born here in the United States of America.
Oh man, damn. ABAB going in a dark.
My mom's
direction.
half Irish, half German. If you need to know.
Hit the like button, everybody, please. All right, Ali. I'm going to move to the next subject here about Christian Wilkins. Mm-hmm. So it's come out through Ian Rappaport that it's no longer speculation like Fowler heard yesterday about, there's an overwhelming sentiment that the Dolphins will not tag Christian Wilkins. It is official, reported through NFL, because Ian Rappaport is the literal mouthpiece of the NFL. Whatever the NFL does, it's okay, and he puts it out there. It is an official thing. The Dolphins are not franchising him. He will hit the market. Now, there is some names that are also hitting the market, guys that are going to make big money, yada, yada, yada. I think I understand why Christian Wilkins is trying to get in on this market, because I think he knows that any team that wants Chris Jones' services, right, knows that they're going to have to give the bag. Chris Jones is going to want the most money. He's going to want Aaron Donald money. Whether he'll get it or not doesn't matter. When we're talking about Christian Wilkins is that any team that's trying to get Chris Jones on their football team, their second best choice will probably be Christian Wilkins, and Christian Wilkins can take a deal that will put him in the stratosphere of one of the highest D tackles in that type of scenario. Some teams ready to give, $100 million contract to a D tackle, and it's going to be Chris Jones, but they can't give him $101 million. Well, Christian Wilkins like, I'll take that $100 million. They're like, all right, we needed him, we got to get him, we're getting him. Now there is a scenario there is some other guys open onto this market. I'm not going to go through a list of names, but if Christian Wilkins isn't getting the offers, and or it's comparable to what he knows the Dolphins have put on the table, there could be a scenario where he can come back. I don't foresee it happening. To me, the money is gone. They can't afford it. And if Christian Wilkins didn't take the deal, that money that they are going to clear up for what he would have gotten paid is going to someone else or some other players. That's probably where it's going to be. Now, there is some good news about this, right? Dolphins fans alike are spending in their head $20 million, whatever it is, in for Christian Wilkins. Well, the cap being manipulated in such a way to get Christian Wilkins can also be manipulated in a way to keep guys like Andrew Van Ginkel, Connor Williams, those types of guys on the field, right? On this football team. Don't be surprised. Just a real quick tidbit. Do not be surprised if Connor Williams gets signed by the Philadelphia Eagles. You heard that here first. Don't be surprised. The strings and the phone calls and the carrier pigeons have already been sent from one side to the other about Connor Williams and the Eagles. Don't be surprised that that's one of the very early signings. Unless the Dolphins can get it done before the free agency clock starts ticking, Connor Williams will probably be with the Philadelphia Eagles. I digress. This Christian Wilkins situation, losing him, can open up other doors for the Dolphins to manipulate that money in a way to help and keep guys like Andrew Van Ginkel or sign other free agents. And there's somebody else nobody's talking about. Raekwon Davis is still out there. I want to say he is literally the youngest guy on the D tackle market free agency coming up this year. The literal youngest guy. Now, not saying he can do better than Christian Wilkins, but remember, we have a new defensive coordinator. Who knows what he can coach? A defensive coordinator that being a defensive tackle is his specialty. He was one in the NFL. Who knows what he could do with a prototype like Raekwon Davis? If it's marginally better in his game, marginally better could be good enough for the type of defense that Weaver wants to run. It is options. Losing Christian Wilkins, and I hear fans, it's crazy too, bro. Two types of fans right now, right, with the Christian Wilkins things. There's the diehard ones that are heartbroken that he's leaving. And then there's the ones that were the diehards about Christian Wilkins, pounding the table all the last 2 years. Pay this man. He's the leader. We drafted him. Captain on the team. Gonna blow him. To now that Christian Wilkins is not going to get the franchise tag, they are shitting all over Christian Wilkins. They are saying, well, we already have Zach Sealer. Da-da. They're saying all the things people said about why you should trade or not sign Christian Wilkins the last 2 years. Now they're recycling all those words because Christian Wilkins is dead to the football team. It is the most amazing flip-flopping I am seeing in the community. I am hearing about it. I'm seeing it from the douchebags all over saying this stuff. When I can remember when I started talking about it, and then, Lou started talking about it, and you and all of us, and we were all like, trade Christian Wilkins.
Mm-hmm.
Get a bag for him.
We
2 years ago, last year, could have done it, didn't do it. Now we lose him and get nothing and have a hole at the position. Bad move.
I mean, there's a lot to think about in regards to this. We don't even know what the Miami Dolphins defensive coordinator's envision of the defensive line is. Let's look at it. Let's look at it for what it is. And you can go back to prior to this past season. We can look at the season prior. What was everybody bitching about? Everybody on YouTube, everybody on Twitter Spaces, Discord, you name it. Everybody was saying that the Miami Dolphins defensive line does not create organic pressure. And if you thought we had organic pressure this season, you're wrong. The tape doesn't lie. It was stuff that we had to maneuver around, such as a la what's his name? Cater Kahoo blitzing the quarterback, Herbert, to create pressure, right? The teams that we bullied around, yeah, we got pressure because they're bad teams, had bad offensive lines, right? But against the teams that we should have beat that were good, to be honest, and I thought we could beat them, we just didn't create the pressure. And when we did, like that last game against the Bills, where we were blitzing like the entire game, I want to say, it was because of us pulling stunts and blitzing constantly. That's why we had pressure. But if you thought about it and you really look at it, when the linebackers went into coverage, that defensive line didn't create the pressure. It really didn't. There's one person. Hold on. There's one person that created organic pressure every time, and that's Andrew Van Ginkel. Andrew Van Ginkel, when he was on the line at edge, when they put him there, that man was always in the backfield, no matter who he was playing against.
I love Andrew Van Ginkel.
Right? And that's a person that you make a priority. So we don't even know if Christian Wilkins fits the mold of what they want to do. Personally, if I'm a defensive coordinator, if I got big money people like this that's on the tail end of their contract, I am going to look at revamping the defensive line or whatever position. I'm going to actually entertain it. I really don't think they could have gotten anything that was worthwhile, to be honest, at this point. 2 years ago, we could have gotten the bag. After we decided not to trade him 2 years ago, that's where we lost.
I think we could have got something nice. I think we would have got a first and more. I think we could have got
the person on a last
2 years ago, back when they were signing everybody, and he had a year plus his fifth year on his thing. We could have got 2 first rounders then.
When
that was the year.
The 5th year, that's where we lost everything.
We could have got everything for him, but whatever. All right, here's another scenario that we need to consider about why Christian Wilkins isn't staying here. If you bring in a defensive coach as your new defensive coordinator, his specialty is the defensive line. He played defensive line, all of that stuff. If there was ever a position you were going to try to go cheap on and try to get all the squeeze out of the orange, you have the best expert you could have hired. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something that needs to be really considered here. That they're going to go, I don't want to say cheaper because Zach Sealer's still getting paid, but they're going to not go for broke with a guy like Christian Wilkins, because this coach can hopefully coach up the guys at that respective position group. Because I'll tell you what, if that's a problem, no matter what the Dolphins do, I'm really going to question what Weaver's good at. Because if you can't get the D-line on your defense as a defensive coordinator to produce, then we got a problem. You know what I'm saying? It's just, that's it. Also, drafting a guy. That could be a great thing to do. It's, again, and I've said this for months, I'll say it probably every episode whenever we talk about the draft. The Dolphins in the first pick and the second pick, more likely than not, is going for defensive line, offensive line. That's it. Whoever is the best player on the D line is in defensive tackle specifically, and offensive line, and that includes everybody on the O line.
Mm-hmm.
Now, shout out to Crazy Dolphin, aka Mr. Polk, renewing his membership. Salute to the homie. Welcome back to the family. Yes.
Welcome to the familia.
Welcome to the family. D-Rod, peace, blessings, and everyone. Thank you. Appreciate that. Here's the deal, right? This is how things are done when you construct a football team. You're not re-signing guys like Christian Wilkins no matter what, even if you're riding to his 5th year. It's just, you got too many guys making too much money. What's up, Andy? I see you, Dow.
We just have too many positions of need that we need to address.
Well, we're losing so many players, and we're spending so much at top positions. I mean, listen, and Dolphin fans love to cry about things that they were loving all over. Everyone loves Ramsey. Everyone loves Tyreek. Everyone loved Chubb's production. Now they're like, oh, we're wasting all our money on these guys. Well, guess what? Those are all 3 key guys that, that 300 monster right there, all trades and guys paid big money, are responsible for a lot of winning in this fucking football team. So don't get it twisted. There's a reason they're making the money they're making. Now, whether you're saying you're paying them too much and it's costing you to get hurt in other positions, that's a different discussion. If you want to say that if you took Tyreek Hill and got rid of him and went just with Waddle and reallocated that money to across the roster, I say I like those ideas if that's your thing. I don't want to get rid of Tyreek Hill. I don't think it's going to bear into more wins, but these are the tough discussions when you're now entering a quarterback on this financial docket that we're putting together here, because he's making the most. And no matter what you do, when you take money and give more, you have $250 million. You have 53 guys. You can spread that out in an equal fashion, but every time you take some from one to give to another, you have to know that the data is saying, well, taking from this position and going to a less productive guy or a less guy that's worth less, which not worthless, but worth less. I'm giving it to this guy because his production is going to be so superior to what I was getting for the dollar amount for the guys I had. It's going to make up and more for what I'm losing at. And this is where we come to the stalemate at the quarterback position. We've seen his numbers improve the last 2 years. We've seen his numbers improve mightily the last 2 years. But I defy you to not look at the immense amount of changes done for him on the offensive side of the ball to make that so. And I'll rattle them off real quick. You bring in a premier left tackle. You bring in a free agent center. You bring in Alec Ingold. You draft a running back. You bring in other running backs. You bring in a top flight best wide receiver in the NFL. All of those data points for the allocation of usage of money in positions to production have helped prop Tua up. You can say what you want, but you're a liar if you're not going to agree with what I just said. It's helping Tua perform at his craft to a better ability because of the team aspect and the money given to these guys. When you take that money away and give it to the quarterback, are we going to see a reduction in production? Reduction in production because of that. And that's the gamble that Dolphin fans want to take, love to take. They don't seem to understand that you can't afford to make big signings like Tyreek Hill and free agent giveaways when you got a quarterback making $48 million plus a year. They don't seem to understand, and I don't know how to explain it to them other than looking at Christian Wilkins leaving the building right now. That's it. I'm not advocating to keep him. I was advocating to trade him to avoid this situation and insert young talent. That's what I was advocating for.
I mean, we don't know really what's going to happen. I mean, there is scenarios where we could still bring him back. I mean, you look at guys like, I can't tell you how many guys, it was like not last year, but the year before, the eve of the NFL free agency, the period where they could start negotiating contracts, even the day before that, players were re-signing that we thought were going to be free agents. So it's very possible that they could just do, not franchise him to avoid to have to pay him $26 million up front, but they may have some deal. I mean, it is very possible. We never know.
I mean, and there is the other thing. We know that, and I seen it in chat. I don't know who said it about Snead. Oh no, look, that's it was friggin' AB. Against AB Snead becoming part of this football team via trade and all that stuff. That's a calculation in which this front office is making a determination that, hey, bringing in a corner, having this situation of good talent, we're going to lose money in other ways because of that. And if it doesn't balance out, how I can tell you how if this stuff works or not. Are you in the second round of the playoffs? Are you in a championship game? Are you in a Super Bowl? Now you can catch lightning in a bottle and get to the playoffs, even win a playoff game. But when you start manipulating stuff like that, and lightning in a bottle, like Houston, they call it lightning in a bottle. What a turnaround! God bless them. To make that what they're doing, it becomes more difficult every year. There's tape out on the quarterback. There's tape out on the schemes on both sides of the ball. Teams are able to figure it out, and then there usually is a regression unless you're really figuring out this office stuff. And look at the Jacksonville Jaguars. You saw the success they had. You saw the regression that came afterwards. Can they get the ship right? That's going to come down to coaching, scouting, front office, and what players they're going to look to, what player acquisitions they're going to look to add on this football team versus the dollars that they plan to spend for he, who, them, whatever, all that stuff.
I see people in the chat saying that, why doesn't the Miami Dolphins fix the O-line first? Who cares about anything else? The Miami Dolphins proved last season they're not going to spend big money in the offensive line. Whoever thinks that we're going to re-sign Rob Hunt, it probably is not going to happen.
Rob Hunt's going to get 15 plus million.
They already proved that they can be formidable with playing Moneyball on the offensive line. That's basically what's going to happen. So
to me, for dollar, you can probably get Connor Williams cheaper, and that's what they'll do. If they're going to sign one of them. I don't see how they can afford any of it. I really don't.
I honestly don't think. I personally think, and you guys might hate this, but I think Eichenberg is our center, bro.
I think Eichenberg's our center, buddy.
I think they're going to re-sign him to a long-term contract before they re-sign Rob Hunt, to be honest. And I know it's sad to say that, in some cases, but I think that's what's going to happen because he was.
You know why? Because if Eichenberg plays as your starter and come week 8, 11, 12, whatever in the season, you sign him to an extension, it helps your football team with manipulation of cap.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah. It does. Eichenberg, whether how high he's rated or not. Say, I'll tell you what, he comes out in the first quarter of the season and he's playing great, you better sign him now.
Yeah.
You better sign him now because then you're going to get him at the cheapest price you can because it's only going up. And this team, again, is pinching pennies from here on out if this quarterback gets extended. The only potential move afterwards is if they don't extend him and look to pivot.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And they could retain all the talent that they want by not extending the quarterback. That means every single player, Javon Holland, Jalen Phillips, Jalen Waddle, any of these other guys that are on the team that are performing that you're not going to lose Robert Hunt if that was the case right now. You're not going to lose Christian Willis. You're not going to lose Andrew Van Ginkel. You're not going to lose anybody.
Yeah.
That's the deal.
I also
another thing I think Dolphins fans are
but-
not talking a lot about in the draft prospects, because I really feel like they're missing it, is linebacker. And it was such a high prioritized thing in the fan base and everything, and it is dead silent on that front. And the Dolphins interviewing these guys and having meetings with tight ends and stuff like that. Bro, this organization is always about smoke and mirrors. And I would not be surprised if some highly touted first-round talent linebacker is sitting there because of all the quarterbacks, tackles, and wide receivers are going to go in the first couple of rounds, along with a pick here and there on the defense corners. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's going to be all these picks done, and linebacker, we could really smack a home run out of the park if we were to grab a linebacker at some point. So, but
I think it's going to be a defensive lineman personally with the first pick.
I think so too.
I think it's going to be one of the Texas boys, to be honest.
I'll tell you what, that big dude that's like 360 something pounds, that would be crazy. True
Which
Zero
one?
Tech. I forget his name, bro. Hold on, let me look at it. Is it Brian Murphy? Is that the guy?
Yeah, that's the guy. I think he's the. Yeah, is it?
Brian Murphy's the smaller one because he's 305 pounds.
Well, I like him from Texas. If he's the Texas boy, I think
He is the Texas guy.
Are you talking about Sweat? I think his last name is.
Yes, Sweat's the one I'm thinking of. Yep.
Yeah, he's
Sweat's
good
the
too.
one I'm
I'll
thinking
take
of.
either one, to be honest.
So yeah, I would like Sweat. Well, all right, that's it. That's all I wanted to talk about. It went way longer than I anticipated. I thought I was going to be up here for like 30 minutes. Appreciate you coming through, Ali. I do want everybody to go into chat after the video, right? First of all, if you haven't hit the like button, if you haven't subscribed, if you haven't joined the membership, please do so. Help support the program, guys. A lot of you guys are here all the time. The memberships are the lifeblood. It helps the algorithm, all that good stuff. Like the videos, share the videos, help us grow. We really always need your guys' help to grow. We grow and stuff like that, but that's because of everyone in chat sharing, liking, commenting, all that stuff, and we appreciate it. So even the haters and trolls, I know who you guys are. We like that. It's all right. You know where to come with your hate and troll. We like it. We're okay with it. But I do want everybody to go ahead and tell us in the comment section, because the chat's moving so fast I can't read it all. Let me know in the comment section, are you rubbed wrong by Tua Tagovailoa finally getting a QB coach finally in his fourth off season, heading into his fifth year? And also, do the Dolphins go cheap at the D-line position, or do they draft a D-lineman to replace Christian Wilkins, or do they get it figured out? Let me know in chat. Let us know in chat at the end of the video in the chat board. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Share the video, like the video, subscribe, become a member. We'll see you guys next time. Fins up.
Fins up.